After having been empty for a few years, the land was very much in a state of abandonment. A lot of things were overgrown, the trees were quite unsightly, and the grass was going all over the place. So one of the first things we wanted to do is make things look a little bit nicer. One big job we had to do was trim back the cherry tree. The phone lines were going through it and they were getting overgrown, and they needed trimming back to install the new internet line. So we did a bit of a hack job to trim it back quite aggressively, which resulted in a tree that doesn't look so nice anymore. What makes it even worse is that in hindsight it wasn't even necessary, because the new internet line was pulled through a different route, so we didn't need to trim it back this aggressively. It will need a bit more of tidying up, but because so much has been cut off already, we are leaving it as is for now and give it a bit of rest and recovery. Before next year we'll trim it back into a bit of a nicer shape as well, hopefully.
When we moved in, the entire front area of the house was filled with plant pots of all different sizes, filled with what was no longer soil but just sand. When Renee was working on pruning the cherry tree, I started with clearing all of this up. After it was all cleared up, we were thinking of what to do with the space. It was very empty and very white. And we decided, as we just cut a lot of wood for the fireplace, that we would store it here for now. We will at some point build an actual wood storage where the wood will have all the space and wind flow to dry properly, but we're not quite there yet. So for now, this wood storage is what we will have, and so far it works fine and it looks really nice as well. A few days ago, I spent an entire day here in the olive grove to prune down all the undergrowth of the 25-ish trees that are growing in this grove. I've not filmed the entire process because it was a whole day worth of work, but hopefully the upcoming images of the 2 trees give you a bit of an idea of how much work it was. And that was just the undergrowth. We still probably have a few days to go to prune down all the top bits, not just of the olive trees here in the grove, but also the ones on the terraces and in front of the house. So one of the things I'm really looking forward to is to get all of this grass finally mowed. It's quite the big terrain we've got here. It's quite uneven, so we are still figuring out what would be the best value for money option in terms of like a lawnmower or a tractor to help us do that. We don't want to buy an expensive lawnmower that we then don't actually get to use because it's not suitable. So if anyone has got any recommendations for a lawnmower that can deal with quite uneven terrain, then let us know, because we really want to get going with this as quickly as possible without making some stupid mistakes in terms of quite expensive investments that they have to be. A lawnmower of the type that we've been seeing are around €3,500, which is quite the investment. So and any tractors with bits that you can put on in terms of mowing, but also other types of land maintenance, they are even more expensive. So yeah, if you've got any idea of what would be good to use here, then let us know, because we're not going to do all of this with a trimmer, because we would get our steps in, we would be busy for quite a bit, but there's more than enough to do to be wasting our time doing that. Although it is quite tempting to just get going at some point with all of this, even if it's like with the trimmer, but we're holding out, and maybe our neighbour has got some recommendations as well. Our lovely neighbour has offered to come and help us with mowing all of this in the olive grove, and to prep, we are going to make sure that all the olive pruning cuttings that we've got are outside of the mowing area. And we've got a little help this weekend as well, because Karen, Rene's sister, is here, and that makes the work a bit lighter. Oopsie. Anyway, yeah, that didn't go to plan, but that's another pile gone.
Our neighbour is helping us mow this olive grove. The grass was getting way too high, but we don't quite have the proper equipment yet. And because we allowed to let her horses graze here, she's mowing it for us. So it's very nice to have neighbours that you can get along with. It's nice to see a big machine getting the job done very quickly. It would have taken us way longer to do so. Can't wait to see the final result.
So we're now quite a few weeks later and it looks like this. It is so much better than it was, and it really took off some of the pressure for us to get searching for something of our own. Our neighbour has offered that we can ask for her help anytime, and while that is really kind and we might take her up on that, we also want some equipment so that we can do all the bits that she could not get to, because the bit that she mowed was the flat bit. There's quite a lot of grassy areas around as well that the big tractor could not get. So the search continues, but at least the pressure is off.
Today we are going to try out our new chipper. After pruning the trees, we have a lot of branches laying around to make them a little bit more manageable, and maybe turn them into compost as well eventually. We need to chop them up as they are just big piles of unmanageable mess at the moment. So let's see what we have.
So now it turns into an unboxing video because we've got no idea what we've got here. It's a Stirwinds, apparently. Never heard of the brand. So this is not a sponsored video, I can tell you that. But here we go. Let's plug it in.
Health and safety, of course, is important.
Let's start with this one. There we go. That whole pile has just been brought down to this massive big bag of mulch. Surprising, really, how well that little thing actually worked. There's a bit of a mess down there, but we'll clear that up and then we call it a day because the sun has gone down and it's New Year's Eve. So it's time to make some applebee's.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
A little bit of work goes a very long way. We're very happy with the end result. Having the trees trimmed back a bit and tidied up and the grass cut back as well makes a massive difference in the appearance of the land. So whenever we come home, it just looks nice. Or in the morning when we look out the window, it doesn't look like we're living in some sort of abandoned place. So we're very happy with the end result here. There is still so much work to do, but this is something that just makes all the difference already. With the days getting longer and the weather picking up as well, we're hoping to do a lot more outside, which is still very much needed. But it's good to have the first bits done, and it shows that the work we put in is definitely worth the effort. So it gives us motivation to continue, and we hope to see you again next time.